He's one of the most powerful people on Wall Street, and he says the economy is strong, even if it doesn't feel like it. Jack Royer from our Tampa affiliate had an exclusive interview with Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Chase.
Hi, Mr. Dimon.
He's one of the most powerful people in finance. Jamie Dimon visited Florida this week, where JP Chase has 5,000 employees. It's a state in which he likes to do business.
Is that based on who's running the states? What leads you to that?
It's been consistent. They like business. They want people to come down. They make it easier. They have taxes that are easier on individuals, sometimes on companies, and getting real estate done and getting things built, and they make it easier. It's nice to be wanted. And you've seen in some places, you're really not.
Dimon has led JP Chase since 2005, through the Great Recession and housing crisis. And even in an era of high inflation, he remains optimistic.
Do you think the Fed is doing everything they can? Are they doing too much right now? How do you assess where we sit economically?
It's easy to cry with spilled milk. It's obvious that they waited too long. And we ended up with too much inflation, but then they moved very quickly to get to what looks like a terminal rate so far. The market thinks it'll be 5.5% on Fed funds, and I think they did that was wise to move quickly, and I think it's probably wise to wait a little bit.
Those things are scary to the average Florida family. How do you make them feel better about the economic future while so many are predicting a recession? That's a scary word for a lot of people.
That's a very good point. First of all, America is the most prosperous nation on the planet. That's true today. It was true before. It's going to be true in the future. And we should fight to maintain that prosperity with good policy, good politics, and things like that. Unemployment is the lowest it's ever been since they've been measuring it. And wages are going up at the low end. So at the low end, they're actually going up faster than inflation.
What about for the people that watch and say, well, it doesn't feel good today when my grocery bill is so high, my rent has gone up, things like that. How do they square hearing you say, well, the economy is doing pretty well?
Yeah, well, unemployment. I think the most important thing is when unemployment go up and people lose their jobs. That's far more devastating than a grocery bill. But I completely understand that. That's why we got to get inflation under control.
What is your advice to young people in maybe Gen Z or slightly older who look around and think, man, my parents tell me I ought to buy a house, but to your point, it's too expensive. My wages, I feel, are too low. What are they to think of the economy that they are currently living in at a young age?
They are being handed the most prosperous nation the world has ever seen. So I don't buy into this notion that their life is going to be worse than ours or yours will be worse than mine or something like that. You have unbelievable opportunity. Learn from people, work hard, give a damn about people, take care of your friends and family, take care of yourself. You're going to have a wonderful life. So I just don't buy that pessimism that somehow they're worse off.
Jack Royer, NewsNation.
All right, well, joining me now for a closer look at what Jamie Dimon had to say is Ed Butowski, managing partner of Chapwood Investments. Ed, thank you so much for your time today. So we heard it there right at the end. He said pessimism. What are your thoughts about Dimon categorizing worries of the younger generation as pessimism?
Well, I'll tell you, he is an icon in our industry. And I have to tell you that I don't disagree that there's a lot of pessimism out there. I have a 27-year-old and a 25-year-old, and I wish that sometimes they would look at things in a much more positive way. But there's so much, and I think social media has a lot to do with this, because there's so much negativity on social media, and these kids are inundated with social media that eventually that negativity plays a role in their business lives and in obviously their personal lives. And I don't believe that they're as positive as they should be, because he is right. We are the most prosperous nation in the world, and there's unlimited opportunities here. But over time, you start to hear about what you can't get done versus what you can get done. And I wish people would start to change their mindset quite a bit.
Well, yeah, and I think it may be hard to be positive. They're looking at their checking account balances, and they don't seem to be increasing much. Dimon, though, said, as you said, it obviously knows what he's talking about when it comes to money. He does seem to be hyper-focused on unemployment. Is that measurement really as important as he makes it seem? I mean, does it make sense for him to focus on unemployment so much and the numbers?
Yeah, unemployment number is a very easy number for people to dissect, and you have to then look and see exactly, what jobs are being taken. I have a son whose girlfriend is looking for a job right now, and she is very talented. She can't get a job, and it's very disturbing for her and for her generation to know there's a lot of jobs out there, but they're not able to get those jobs. But they're also looking for a tremendous amount of money. If you're not getting $50,000-$60,000 as a college graduate, they're just not taking those jobs, which is kind of surprising to me. I really, when I started out, I made $23,000 a year, and I was happy as could be, and I just figured I'd just work a little harder and get another job and continue to build from there. And that just doesn't seem to be the mindset of a lot of people. But the unemployment rate is something that's very, very low, and people should be very happy with the unemployment rate being low.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.